Dallas coach got dropped, huh?
Sir.
Mike McCarthy led Green Bay for 8 years.
They're tired of losing, bro.
Brett Favre.
Speaking of little boy.
They were doing good for a little bit, and then something happens, and then all of a sudden they did.
No, Jason Garrett is a piece of shit, dude. He wasted Tony Romo's entire career. Wasted Des Bryant. I'm mad about that.
I'm pretty sure that's why Des Bryant left.
Just the inability to change. DeMarco Murray, dude. You just waste the prime 3 years of his career.
I heard
you're a piece of shit coach.
I heard
you can't run the fucking ball on 2 and 6. Whatever.
I heard from a little birdie. Whoa.
Yo. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Down Low, episode 7. They're getting deep talking about some coaches and football players over here. We talking sports today, guys?
Tony Romo should have multiple rings.
We talk everything on this bitch.
We talk everything. I just want to say what's up.
Oh, man.
Chandler, Murray.
Craig Melton.
Craig Melton.
Everyone, this is Craig Melton.
This is my buddy Craig Melton, and he is not also our cousin. Go Seahawks. So,
Go Hawks.
No
Cowboys.
Yo,
I'll put it out there like that. I don't give a fuck.
You're a Cowboys fan?
Bro, I'm from Texas. I was born and raised a Cowboys fan.
I know, man, but you're from the Houston area. Why aren't you a Houston fan?
I root for them too.
I feel you, but I'm not really a Cowboys fan, bro. You can't have both.
I was a Dallas fan before the Texans were even the Texans.
Who's that wide receiver they have? Cooper?
I don't know, man. I haven't really been paying attention like that.
Then you ain't no damn fanboy.
Bitch, shut the fuck up.
Fanboy.
Amari Cooper.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, Amari Cooper.
Man, he is phenomenal.
I'm horrible.
Finally, you give Dax something to work with over there. Yeah, I'm proud. And then you give Mike McCarthy in there. I mean, he coached Brett Favre.
Brett Favre is my boy. I'm a hardcore Packers fan.
I don't know how true it is.
That's my team.
But I heard from a little birdie that Des Bryant is coming back to Dallas. I don't know how true it is.
I think it's a lie.
Ooh, man, he'd be fantastic as a number 3 wide receiver. You just make him run streaks every play.
You know,
he's really good at those slants too. I'd love to see him back in uniform. I like Des Bryant.
He was good.
Yeah. I don't know too much about football. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. I don't really watch football like that. I got
the little football bick.
Too many people are losing their brain from that shit, man.
Yeah, man, that is real.
They fixed the game a lot, but it's never going to fix between linemen.
Dude, you can't fix a helmet. Like, your brain gets rocked inside your brain. There's no helmet that holds your brain in place.
Well, they've made it to where, because they study, like, the physics of how tackles work, and they study, like, how much impact a helmet takes. And so they've removed a majority of the plays that are those high-impact, plays and tackles out of the game and made them illegal. And then also on the kickoff, they've also changed it to where you're not having people run like full speed down there. You start off at 15 yards off the line, things like that. So they're doing better. But yeah, it's a pretty violent sport.
It's still pretty dangerous.
But the thing that you're never going to change is the linemen and the defensive linemen just slam together every play. Yeah, it's like you're never going to prevent those like soft concussions on the line. And so I don't know.
I mean, like, I look at it this way, dude. Like, all modern athletes are, like, they're the modern-day gladiators, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they take wear and tear on literal. They're, like, killing themselves for our entertainment.
Well, not as dramatically, but, yeah, they are putting their bodies on the line.
Yeah. Not as dramatically as gladiators, but they are the modern-day gladiators. Like, MMA fighters.
Yeah, there's always been that,
They go through. Yeah, there's always been some sort of.
In the Greek times, they had like public wrestling events as well. So they weren't always. It wasn't always blood and gore. Like it was. Just
it was always some sort of
physical competition.
Competition, and people always love to see some sort of competition.
You know, that's why Plato is famous, because he was a famous wrestler.
For real?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Isn't there like sculptures of him like wrestling and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard that Plato might be. I think this was only on a meme actually, but that Plato could have been his like stage name, which it only means broad in Greek. So it could be like the Rock, you know? Like what if the Rock was
Anybody just called him?
Master philosopher, but was known for his wrestling abilities.
He is a master
And,
philosopher.
like Hulk Hogan is a microbiologist.
You ever listen to The Rock
What?
speak?
If he was,
You ever
but he's
li-
only
Oh,
known
I
for
thought
his
you-
stage name,
Do you know, like, have you ever heard The
Words.
Rock speak? Like, he is a master philosopher, if you ask me.
Oh, he's just a very intelligent and curious person.
He is very intelligent, and he is very open-minded.
Yeah.
That's a good guy I like to see get into politics. I think he wants to get into politics.
Yeah.
That's a
see
dangerous
him being a
thing.
mayor.
That's a dangerous thing to do for an actor, though. That's
No,
very
something like mayor or like governor or something.
Yeah.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor of California for how long?
I think 12 years.
12 years.
I think so. It could be more.
I don't really know too much about his run. Was it?
I don't know too much about his politics either. I'm sure it was
Arnold
Democratic
actually
views.
switched parties. He was Republican at first.
I can imagine that, because his gun stances and all that shit, Yeah. So I don't know too much about his political views or like whether he was a good
governor for 8 years.
8 years. Okay, 8 years. Still, that's a good bit of time. I mean, people reelected him.
The people
That's,
wanted
that's
him.
usually a sign. If you get reelected, it's usually
Yeah.
a sign that you're doing something right.
You did something right for California.
Yeah.
There's
And California is one of those places where it's like they don't stand for shit.
yeah.
They'll fucking boot you out quick if they don't like what you're doing.
I think that's why like Texas and California are like one of the biggest rival states.
Texas is just a hardcore red state, man.
Have you seen like anything about Arnold Schwarzenegger's life?
Nuh-uh.
He's
No.
a very
really?
like
I know he
he's a-
used to do
he's-
porn.
well, he's a very just sort of
I feel
sort of
like that's
creates-
how I would want to be if I was a celebrity.
You
Just
know,
very.
he won like gold medals for his like body weightlifting and bodybuilding.
Yeah, he was a bodybuilder and stuff. I know that.
I think he may have competed in the
In the
Olympic
Olympics, I
Games.
believe, so.
Yeah, then he became an actor, and Terminator's definitely he has the line that everyone knows him for. And he's like, I'm gonna be a politician. Succeeded in that.
Get to the top.
Certain type of people just have that drive.
Get to the top.
They're gonna be successful. They create their opportunities.
I think that's what we're trying to do here.
He was in Mr. Olympia. I think that's a weightlifting thing, kind of like the Olympics. Because I don't believe the weightlifting was in the Olympics
Yeah, but it
for
was
a while.
some sort of like world.
Yeah, it's the Olympia.
World competition.
Yeah.
Yep. I think he lost though, but he was still participated in it. He was still a world class bodybuilder. I mean, he built a whole acting career on his bodybuilding.
If you're at the top of the line of whatever you're doing and you place, if you get like 1 through 10, and then you're in the place where the best of the best are there competing, you don't necessarily have to be first. Like,
True.
No, not really. I mean,
No, yeah, I feel you on that 100%.
I mean, all you
I think
have to do is just say his name, and everyone knows who you're talking about.
yeah, if you ain't first, you're last. But,
Hey, I was just thinking about
He
that
was-
movie.
but not really though.
What's the gentleman's name who he was on 8 Mile or on the Green Mile also, and he was on Talladega Nights. He passed away a few years ago. The dude from the Green Mile and Talladega Nights. He was the pit manager on Talladega Nights.
I can't remember his name.
Don't you put that on us, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that evil on us.
Yeah.
I'm so horrible with actor names, man.
I'm gonna look
I'm
it
so
up,
horrible
man.
with actor names.
Yeah, it's a shame that guy passed away.
Yeah, man. He was a great actor, man. And he was funny too, really funny.
Man, there's too many great people.
Michael Duncan.
Yeah, Michael Duncan, that's what it was.
Michael Duncan.
Oh, bald head.
Yes, sir. Don't you put that on us, Ricky Bobby.
Don't you put that knife in your leg, Ricky Bobby.
Don't you put that knife on your leg, Ricky Bobby.
Saw around the meat.
I saw it around. Oh my God.
I love that movie.
He said, "You can walk. I can walk. I can walk." That shit's crazy, bro.
Oh, man.
He's out there playing basketball, and he's like kicking the other people in the wheelchairs and shit. It's so fucked up, man.
What does dad tell him? There's a pound of Mary Warrior or some shit like that. If pure cocaine underneath the car.
He said there's a kilo of Colombian Bam Bam strapped to the bottom of the car. Cops are coming, boy.
What's it gonna be?
You gonna go to jail or you gonna go fast?
Don't try to snort these Lucky Charms.
Oh, man.
That shit's hilarious. I was just thinking about that movie earlier. It's like, I think you meant to put them damn onions on my steak.
Dude, Will Ferrell's another one who just sort of came from not a good life, not a good situation, and just sort of created that career for himself.
See, I think what boosts his career so much is he's so free-spirited about his comedy.
I think I've heard him talk about how it was like the last stand and he was doing like stand-up, and his dad was like, okay, so if this doesn't work out,
this is it. You're a fucking failure pretty much.
And then he got into Saturday Night Live, and
I think what made him so popular was his ruthlessness with his comedy. Like, he would make out with his friends on stage just like that. Like,
that was Alex,
in a heartbeat, bro. Like, he didn't care. Like, it was for the jokes. Like, he was like, I'm comfortable with my sexuality. I know I'm not gay. This is 100% for comedy. And he would just kiss his friends, like, passionately. Dude from Night at the Roxbury would just make out with each other. It's just like they'd be singing or something and just look at each other and just fucking start kissing. I was like, but he didn't care. He was ruthless for the comedy. Like, for the jokes, he was in if the jokes were there,
Yeah.
As I've always liked about Will Ferrell, like, he doesn't care. Like, even if it's like self-destructive comedy, that's always the best, because like I love that.
If you can't laugh at yourself,
exactly, bro. That's
you can't get by.
I was just thinking about that, man. Like, you need to be able to laugh at your situations in your life and like look at everything and take everything with a grain of salt, man, and just.
That's why Jim Jeffries is so good.
Dude, he's hilarious.
Just like, just get that coke wank out.
Yeah, coke wank. I seen one skit he did where he was walking around asking people. He was like saying he wanted to run for mayor in their city, and he was like, would you vote for somebody who's done drugs in the past? And they were like, depends on how long ago and what drugs. He was like, 2002 to 2019 cocaine.
Yeah,
Fucking, he's goofy, bro.
Probably not.
He's hilarious,
just a little
man.
bit of weed every day.
I seen another one where he's in a cop car and they're giving him like a ride along, and he says, "What's an unarrestable amount of cocaine?" He was like,
Well.
any amount. He was like, cocaine's illegal. He was like, what if somebody had cocaine in the car right now?
Yeah.
He's so goofy, bro. I love it.
Oh, man.
I love it, dude. It's so good. Man, like Theo Vaughn, dude. That guy's hilarious, bro. Like, but I've always said it, man. It takes a dark past to make a good comic. I think that's why I want to do comic. Like, why I want to be a comic, because like I find the humor in everything, because I've like experienced everything. Like we were speaking earlier, like I've experienced so much in my 23 years of living. Like, I don't know, like I can see the humor in everything,
Yeah.
So it's like I know there's certain boundaries not to cross with humor, and like I guess a lot of comedians don't understand that, but a lot of comedians just also don't give a fuck, and they've earned that, like they've earned that status where people know they don't mean harm by it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, they still get whiplash. Like Theo Vaughn, for example, like he is ruthless with his comedy. Like he doesn't care, and he's wild. Like he talks about he used to buy these vests, and fucking he would do cocaine all night and order these vests on the TV shows. Like they'd be the commercials for the fancy vests and shit. I'm talking about all the pockets and shit. And he would order them, and he'd just order them in all the different colors and shit. And he would just walk around his apartment by himself and do cocaine in these vests.
Oh, my God.
And he said one day he accidentally locked himself out of his apartment. And it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And he ran over to his neighbor's house, and he's wearing this vest. And he bangs on the door, and his neighbor's his landlord, so he needs a spare key. And his neighbor comes out. He's like, what happened? He's like, I'm having a party over there, and I accidentally locked myself out. The music's blaring. And fucking, the landlord unlocks the door, swings it open, and there's nobody in the apartment, and the music's just fucking blaring 3 o'clock in the morning. And he's just sitting there in his vest, locked outside of his apartment.
Oh, my fucking God.
So badass.
Joe Rogan was talking to him. He was like, damn. He was like, he's like, have you seen the landlord since then? Have you seen that landlord since then? Or like, have you know? He's like, how long was it, when did you move out of there? He was like, nah, that was like a year ago. I still live there.
Oh my fucking
Like,
gosh.
oh shit.
Hey, that's a dope ass landlord, bro.
He said, I still live there. That's hilarious, bro. That's like this one time I was having a party at the Rooms for Rent motel when I was living over there, and I had a bunch of fucking people. We just left the river, and I forgot my key, or like Ryan Brzezowski had it or something because he was living there with me. And there was like 6 of us, bro, 6 or 7 of us, and fucking nobody had the key. And he was like, or he like left it in Heather's car. That's what it was. And he was with us. And he was like, yo, just go run and knock on Augie's door. And Augie was the old man who, like, managed Room for Rent or, like, owned it, whatever. And he had a key for all the rooms. He's like, just knock on his door and tell him you need another key. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I ran over there and knocked on his door. And I was like, hey, I locked my key out. And he was like, all right. So he fucking walks me to the room to unlock it. And he walks over there, and there's, like, fucking 6 people, 7 people just waiting. We're all fucking trashed drunk, bro. Like, belligerent drunk. And we were all young too, super young.
What the fuck did you say? He just let y'all in?
I don't remember.
Like,
He let us in, and I think he was just like, "We need to talk tomorrow" or some shit.
All right, fuck it, let's do it, bro. That fucking apartment was.
Dude, that shit was
It
so
wasn't even an
ghetto.
apartment. It was like.
No, that was a room.
Yeah.
Just a bedroom. Just a
Oh,
bedroom and a hall of
man, dude,
bedrooms.
It was not good.
Dude, there was not even.
situations.
I didn't even have my own bathroom. It was a community bathroom when I lived there. Like, straight up. Community shower and community bathroom, bro. In this hotel.
No.
And it wasn't even a hotel. It was a motel.
No security cameras.
Oh, no security cameras. No peepholes and doors. Nothing, bro.
No,
It was
I
fucking
can't do it.
so ghetto, bro.
Can't do all that, dude.
It was so trashy, dude. And there was bugs everywhere.
Oh man.
That's that Rooms for Rent, Sealy. Y'all ever want to live in a trashy ass hotel? I remember I watched this dude. I ain't gonna say his name, but I watched this dude. He was fucked up on that fake, and he had got shot in the head a couple years earlier. You know what I'm talking about. And fucking Mexican dude, fucking he's fucked up on that fake, and he's walking down the hallway, just fucking as he's walking, taking a shit. It's like just falling behind him like a fucking horse.
Oh
It's
man.
crazy, bro.
That's a fake, bro. That shit is dangerous.
Yeah, bro. And it was just in the middle of the fucking motel. He was just walking, taking a shit, pants off.
You know, a lot of
Dropping like a
people
horse.
that
That's scary.
got lost in it.
But he literally had like, this part of his head was like gone and shit because he had like gotten shot in the face. Yeah, he like tried to rob somebody or something and like ran. Or the story I heard is that he used to like run up on people.
Yeah.
And like and he like did it to this kid a couple times, and I guess the kid got a gun and shot him or some shit. I don't know exactly what happened, but yeah, some shit like that. I don't know exactly what happened. I could be completely wrong.
Anyways.
Yeah. Anyways,
I don't like to get into.
so yeah. What was I gonna say? When you get that education for all, man.
Oh boy. Education for all. Check it out, man.
I just feel like we should at least have basic courses of college. Just at least your basics should be. They should have some sort of way to get your basics for free. Like a community college that's free.
I mean, I don't understand where the line, why basics would be the end of it.
I mean, I'm not saying it should be the end of it, but right now I feel like that's the best argument we should push. Because realistically looking at it, they're not going to go for all education free. It's not going to happen, you know, or at least not right now. We can gradually get there, but I think the best step right now is some sort of way to get your basics for free. So everyone is able to get their basics for free.
I disagree with gradualism.
I disagree with it too, but I also look at it realistically, and I understand the rest of the world doesn't look at it the way I do. You know.
Well, the rest of the world actually does. The rest of the country, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, Japan,
I don't really know too much about it.
Germany offers free college for people to come live in their country,
For real?
much less their own citizens. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I mean, free college was was a public good up until I think the 1940s or 1950s. The government paid for a majority of public universities because public universities are funded by the government majority-wise. So it only makes sense for the citizens to
Be able to go to what they're
be able to
funding.
go to those
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
That makes complete sense.
Hey, Chandler, you're gonna fund this party, and I'm gonna throw it for you, but you can't attend it.
You can't attend it. Yeah.
Unless you give me money.
You're
And
You're gonna pay us to create this party, and then in order for you to go, you have to pay us.
Yes.
Mm.
$5 at the club, bitch.
I don't know.
$5 out the door.
Oh,
That's
man.
our system, man.
That's our system, bro.
It's a broken one for
All
sure.
about money, bro.
Yeah, it's broken for sure.
I really.
It's all about money going to the wrong place.
Yeah, understood that. Like the military. I'm sure there is no cap on the budget on the military.
Here's a
Do
deep
you know? I mean, do you know if there is? I'm sure there is an actual number, but I'm sure it's.
We expand the military budget every year. I think this year is like 1.7 or 700 billion at least.
See, that's $1.7 billion that could be going towards something like productive instead of something counterproductive.
Yeah, it's beating around the bush. But the World Health Organization found that like if you spent somewhere like 200 billion, you could just end world hunger.
For real?
Yeah, it might be less than that. There's a pretty comprehensive study done, and it was like an alarmingly low number. For if you just put that money behind ending world hunger, you could just do it. And we spend like 5 times that a year on our military budget. So every year we could just permanently end world hunger 5 times over.
That's pretty ridiculous. I don't even know that.
It is pretty weird. So like, really, money's not the issue. It's that the money goes to
greed.
corporate interests like Halliburton and ExxonMobil and
Halliburton's a
Amazon
bitch,
and
man.
Walmart.
See, that's the Sith right there. Dick Cheney, man. That's if there's a Sith Lord, that's the fucking guy. That's the fucking guy, man. His stocks rose 500% after he left office.
Yeah, Amazon paid something like 3% in state and local taxes and 0% in federal taxes.
0%.
Motherfucker.
$0 in federal.
Amazon is literally shutting malls down, ruining businesses, destroying people's livelihood.
Yeah, that's why that's how the taxes code's written.
And if you go to an Amazon warehouse, it's machines as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, and
Robots.
Sleepers living in tents. Their workers living in tents.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I was talking about, man, I mean, it's a global monopoly. Amazon is like, it's taken over all of retail. You know, it's like people don't go to the stores anymore like they used to. You know, everything is.
Oh no.
It's just easy to buy it online. It's there the next day.
Yeah, at what point does it become a monopoly? They just buy out different the means of production, and they control like what ads are given, and they control those avenues, and they control how their product's delivered. Like, at what point does it become a monopoly?
I think
Oh,
whenever
you
they
think-
have
you think
the
like
global
Congress-
hold on whenever they have a global hold on retail, then I think it's starting to become a monopoly. It's I'm not saying it's there yet, but it's getting there. It's gradually getting there. It is for sure. There's studies showing that Amazon by itself is shutting malls down.
You'd think like Congress
Yeah,
and Senate would hold
fucking-
hearings on it or something. Instead, they're just
They got fucking drones delivering packages.
Why can't a person do that? The money you spend on that drone or that maintenance on that drone.
Well, I think that jobs that can be done by a machine should be done by a machine.
But they should.
So things like cash registers, and humans shouldn't be dealing with that crap.
Negative.
And humans should be dealing with like social interaction, being like
Well, the
taking
cash
care of
register,
guesswork,
the people
mopping up.
also in the cash register is to make sure nobody's stealing. You know,
Well, I mean,
'cause
you
you have to.
you just have it to where you insert it like in a kiosk.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so you could have all that automated, and I think it makes sense for it to be automated. But you can make the actual workers more productive because they don't have to spend time on crap that can be done by a machine. So like they can like you can hand them your cup and like ask them like did they get everything right? Maybe even assist them with their order. There's some people who would need that. Like that's
like McDonald's. They're starting to have the electric
it's a better use of your workers' time.
It's like the movie theaters are starting to have that now too, where you just
you don't have to
ticket
necessarily be scared of automation because it makes sense. Like you shouldn't have humans be doing monotonous tasks like that.
I understand some automation, but some of it is going too far because like you got to understand. Yeah, people always say with automation, well, we just retrain people. It's like, well, you can't just these people if they didn't like school 40 years ago or 20 years ago. What makes you think that they're gonna like school now, being retrained? You know. What makes you think that they're gonna be any?
Oh, the idea that you're gonna train people to be coders is ridiculous. But
yeah,
I mean, you just have to rethink how
insane.
the economy's organized.
A lot, just saying that we're gonna retrain people in general for different jobs is almost preposterous because people aren't just gonna be willing to go back to school and find a new trade. You know what I'm saying? People have too much maybe pride into what they do, or people just love what they do, or they're comfortable where they are, and they just will fight to get before they give it up, you know? I mean, look at that dude, the killdozer guy, you know what I'm saying? His muffler shop got shut off, and like
oh yeah.
His road to his muffler shop got cut off, and he kept like petitioning with the city, you know, he's like, I can't get any customers to my shop, you know, the roads have been shut off. So he like bought all the equipment to build a new road, and he was like, look, I have all the equipment to build a new road. I'll pay for it, everything. He was like, I just need to open my shop back up or I'm going to lose everything. And they were like, no, you can't build it. And just like fucking kept beating around the bush with this dude, and pretty much he lost everything, lost his business because of it. And so he took the bulldozer he bought and fucking made it into this giant fucking like welded all these fucking steel frames on, made it bulletproof, and drove it around for hours into City Hall, into all these different buildings, to the people in city, like everybody in City Hall who owned businesses and shit that denied him the new road or denied, you know, the road being back opened to his shop. He fucking like drove the killdozer into their fucking businesses and into City Hall and destroyed City Hall and caused like multiple $1 million of damage. And like just went on a rampage and eventually got stuck inside of a building and shot himself.
He shot himself?
Yeah, he shot himself.
That's horrible. Man, yeah, I mean, but that's just an example of the government working for, you know, whoever they had the stupid contract with for the roads instead of for the people.
I don't remember exactly what happened with the roads, but it was something that City Hall did. Like they ordered something in the middle of the road. And like it completely shut the road off.
Shut down the road to his shop.
That's crazy.
Like I think they like built something right in the middle of the road or something. It was crazy.
Yeah, just government does not work for the people for some reason. It's backwards.
Yeah, but I mean,
been like that.
He lost everything, you know, and he snapped, you know. And I feel like I'm not saying everybody's going to do that.
Reaction.
Yeah, I'm not saying everybody will do that, but I feel like with automation, some people will do that.
Well, I mean,
you know,
did the government start?
I'm not saying the government.
I think you give people, you take care of people, you make them healthy, you give them free time, and well, it'll work out. You know, 'cause before you had people doing jobs where they were just picking. You know, everyone was a farmer working at like a small shop.
Yeah, just speaking to the mic just a little more, bud. My bad.
No, you're fine. And tasks, you know, jobs 100 years ago were way more monotonous than they are now, and then the economy changed.
Absolutely, like ditch digging.
I think people are pretty willing to learn. People are willing to adapt, especially if it's.
I'm not saying everyone. I'm not saying everybody. I'm just saying there is those few that are gonna be.
Yeah.
That are gonna that'll fight back against it. You know.
Yeah. I've noticed there's like. There's a lot more people that like they want to go to like a tech school rather than a university or something. Because
I feel like tech is a booming.
It's like quick and easy.
And it's something booming right now. It's
not always easy.
A lot of it is a guaranteed job. You know, a lot of it is guaranteed trade. You know.
Yeah.
And everybody wants some sort of trade. And I feel like at the university, you get a piece of paper, but not so much a trade. You know, you don't have a
well,
sometimes.
Sometimes you do, but
it
a lot
depends on how much work you really put into that university, honestly.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
You open up opportunities for people to learn about how to, do things. They can even learn about coding, but do things like with solar panels and installing those things.
No, you're right. I
think people will do it, and old people that are set in their ways. I mean, you give them the opportunity, and I think that they would take it.
I'm not saying all of them will resist. I'm just saying some.
Whenever I was going,
there will definitely be some.
That's also a natural reaction to resist change. You know?
Whenever I was going,
because you don't know if it's going to be better or if it's going to be worse off for you.
Exactly. People are comfortable where they're at, you know, and a lot of people don't feel comfortable leaving where they're at.
But once they see the success work in other examples, they'll be like, okay, maybe I was wrong.
Understood.
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'm giving them too much benefit of the doubt.
Whenever I was going to welding school, there was a guy in my class, and I think he was like in his 50s.
I mean, yeah, some people. I mean, there is always those older people who go back to school. You know, we're always trying to learn new things and trying to switch it up. You know, which is good. You know, because you always got to be open to change. You know, you always got to be open to the world's always gonna be evolving around you, and trades will come and go. You know, because like radiology, for example, I see people. I heard somebody was speaking about this the other day. Like radiology, people are leaving that trade like a motherfucker because like it's something that computers are way better at reading. You know, like
scans.
Yeah, scans and stuff, seeing shades of gray that the human eye can't see in something like that. You know, and they're better at detecting it and being able to cross reference it with other photos instantly instead of us having to go through every single photo and cross reference it. You know. A machine can do that literally like that and know exactly whether it was a tumor or not.
Do you know
whether it's just an infection or inflammation or something?
But you do got to be careful because whenever you automate certain jobs, you want to place more value onto like the customer service jobs that still exist. And what a lot of companies do is that whenever they add in that kiosk that reduces their cost on labor, they don't then add that cost onto their other employees. They just take it for themselves. True. They're like, okay, this is where I save money. And so you got to like rethink how people be able to understand human value and work, things like that.
Automate, but also keep your employee rate right.
How do you enforce that? Like, I don't know. Libertarians are going to get mad.
A very trustworthy accountant.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's
maybe a higher minimum wage.
Like I said earlier, it's another thing that we're gonna have to gradually, you know, start to live with and understand. Just like
a lot of things. Had a lot of good ideas.
Andrew Yang has a lot of good ideas, but he also has some that are a little off the wall. But I mean, everybody does. Everybody has something that you don't agree with. So just like almost every politician, you could listen to him and you could be like, well, I agree with some things, but there's a lot of things I don't agree with. It's everybody.
Yeah.
It's just. A lot of people get like left and right confused and like Democratic and Republican. It's like a lot of times y'all are agreeing with each other. You know, it's like y'all have the same fundamental views. You just go at it different ways in the wrong way, you know?
No comment.
I mean, do you agree or do you disagree? I'll be honest. I mean, this is 100% an honest area.
I think they agree because
that's funny.
They're funded by the same people.
I feel like they're almost the same thing.
Exactly.
Like, and then for people to hate each other, like people literally ruin relationships over politics.
They're both for the rich.
I've heard of people disowning their own children over politics, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, that's.
And they're just being deceived.
And it's literally the same thing. Y'all have the same fundamental views, and y'all are letting media and everything else and politicians who say y'all have the different views.
Yeah, like when you poll the American
people. It's all vanity.
People, yeah, like when you poll the American people, like 80-90% of the people agree on the same things.
Yeah.
Like background checks for gun ownership. Like that's not a left or right issue. Like everyone agrees.
A lot of politicians have the same views. They just want to be the loudest one.
Like no one.
They just want to be the most outspoken one.
No one wants to take away guns. The majority of people just want it to be a little bit harder to buy a gun.
Exactly. We just don't want it where you can just walk into a gun show and walk out with a gun and shoot some people.
But you can,
Or a psycho can walk into a fucking store and buy a gun and then go into a school and shoot a bunch of people. You know, it's like that shouldn't be available. Like for instance, I just stumbled on my words. For instance, like Nicholas Cruz, he should have never been able to buy a firearm. It was proof, and everyone knew. Like the FBI knew about him, like before he even bought a firearm, I believe. Like he had multiple calls to his house from the police. He was on file as mentally unstable. Like, why was he ever able to buy a gun? Why are we not doing mental background checks? Like, you should be able to see if someone was checked into a mental institution or checked into a hospital or had some sort of psychiatric help, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not saying anyone with any kind of mental disability should not have a gun, because that's not true. But some people with mental disabilities should not have guns, like Nicholas Cruz.
There should definitely be a deeper depth in the background check.
Exactly. There should be, and then there should be interviews. There should be all kinds of stuff, and it shouldn't just be like, okay, well, you have no criminal record, so here you go. That's not how it should go, because just because they haven't done anything illegal then doesn't mean they don't have the intent to do something illegal.
Yeah,
you know, it doesn't.
Agree. Whenever he's on the FBI's radar and then he's able to buy a gun, that should, like, why?
Yeah, that's a giant red flag there.
It's because
what's going on here?
Different agencies don't share data, and then they have like the 3-day wait period. And then if you just do that over a holiday weekend, the 3 days is up, and they're never, like, no one's at the office to check their the review, so they just automatically approve you.
He got it at a gun show or at a shop.
I'm not sure where he bought his gun, but he shouldn't have been able to buy a gun in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, it was.
I think he bought it at another state.
That's one thing about the gun shows, man, because that's too many applications, man.
Yeah, that shit gets pushed through. It's
way too many applications.
When I was 18, I bought a shotgun, and
a lot
I bought
of
it from the
gun show
pawn
people,
shop.
They do it legit.
They fucking
the
literally say it on the movies, like on movies and shit. Hey, just go to the gun show. You can get a gun right there.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I mean,
okay.
I bought a shotgun at a pawn shop. I bought a shotgun at a pawn shop in Sealy when I was 18 years old, and like whenever they were doing my background check with everything, he was like, I gotta just send it to the ATF real fast. Usually it takes about an hour or two, so if you want to just come back. He was like, and then he was like, he called it in real fast, and then literally within seconds it was done. I was like, what was that? He was like, oh, they told me they had a gun show today, so they're trying to rush it.
Oh my god, bro.
I was like, are you serious? And within 10 minutes, I walked into this pawn shop, bought a shotgun, and walked out. Within 10 minutes, 18-year-old.
You polled
18-year-old kid.
Yeah, so everyone agrees on that. You poll 80% of the American population. Like, do you think veterans should be homeless?
Nope.
Do you think the VA should be reorganized?
Yep.
Like,
They shouldn't only be able to go to the VA. They should be able to go to any hospital they want to.
Do you think Amazon and Walmart should allow to get welfare tax breaks on their employees? Like, no. Like, everyone agrees on these things. The reason why the Republicans and Democrats are the same is because they're fighting for the same people, and it ain't us.
It's true.
That's my 2 cents. So.
No, I feel you 100% on that.
Worthy.
It's very true. You know, it's some deep shit.
There's a lot of people that agree.
Absolutely. I agree.
I
agree 100%, and I hope y'all at home agree. If not, then this podcast probably isn't for y'all.
Probably
but there's
not.
nothing wrong with that. We just have certain views, and we just feel certain things. Everybody has their own views. Everybody has their own
doesn't mean
their
you're
own
a bad
stances.
person.
Well, this podcast might actually just be for you, because we don't get into this topic often. This was just for Chandler, you know, because Chandler has a lot of views on this and has a lot of intelligent ideas and thoughts on it.
But I think there's worthwhile ideas on the conservative side, and there's worthwhile liberal policies, but they're just not really framed correctly in our country or in the discourse. Like, everyone's painted as the most radical thing that they've ever done or said, or they take whatever view they have out of context, and then that's just how you frame them. Like the Trump thing, like they go crazy over him, and like He's just the same as George Bush and
There's
Obama.
just so much
Yeah.
vanity.
He does the
into
same
it.
thing they did. His speeches are almost identical. He just
He
goes
just
to
says
town on Twitter.
He just says it crazy.
I was just
mean,
Yeah,
about
he
to
just
say
says
the
it.
social media thing, man. I was
He
just about
just
to
says
say
it. He just says it in a wild manner.
He just cusses and shit.
Yeah,
you know.
he has no filter. That's it. He just doesn't have a filter. But I'm not saying Trump's a good person in any way. I'm not saying he's a good president. I'm not saying he's a bad person either. I'm not saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm not dogging on him as a person, and I'm not
just saying
dogging
his
on him as a
chief of
president.
staff was an executive for ExxonMobil. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a red flag there.
Imagine the stuff that Trump would post if he wasn't president.
I mean, the old chief of staff for
Have you ever
Bush.
seen some of his stuff
The
before?
chief. I mean,
Man,
listen to
dude.
this.
He used to just get on Twitter
Hey,
every
bud.
day and just like complain about like whatever actor was getting in trouble during the day. Like,
Hey, bud.
he was crazy. Dude.
George
He was
Bush's
way
chief of
funnier
staff
back then.
was
I mean, he's kinda
executive.
funny now.
George Bush's chief of staff was the CEO for Halliburton. So
Yeah, dude. I mean, they're all the same
They're all the same.
except for one.
it's except for the one, the burn, feel the burn. So on that note, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. Thank you guys for watching. This was episode 7.
Yeah, la, 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 la,
Thank you, everybody. We'll be back in a few days. Hope y'all like the new studio setup for y'all guys. And
Well,
catch you later.
Go watch Captain Marvel.
Go watch Captain Marvel, yeah.
What Captain Marvel?
Ooh.
Man.
Ooh, Captain Marvel. Y'all have a good one. Bye.